What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Aha. I wanted to start this video by giving a shout out to all the Aha fans who have found the channel in the last few days and started to give me a great amount of information and insight and sort of background just as I start going through their first album, with many more albums to go. It does actually remind me of when I first started reacting to Duran Duran about 4 months ago. It's a group that I knew a little bit from my youth, again sort of like Take On Me, although I knew more Duran songs from, I was born in 1980, so I was a single digit kid in the 80s. But yeah, when I started reacting to Duran, very quickly a number of friendly, informative, and passionate people who loved Duran's music and were very keen to sort of, guide me in my exploration and sort of make suggestions about what to listen to next, give me crucial information about the band members and sort of the evolution of the sound and so on. And it was really helpful, and they've come to be a number of my good friends on the channel, so shout out to all of you. And indeed, several of you were the people who suggested that maybe I should take a closer look at Aha's material. So once again, there's definitely some crossover, but again, shout out to all the new Aha fans, or not new Aha fans, but Aha fans who are new here. And who've, again, just in the few days that I started reacting since doing the reaction to Take On Me, have really started to give me some insight on a number of different aspects and sort of the, the configuration of the group, and then later they perform with session musicians and lots of people talking about Morton's voice, which, believe me, just in a short while I really do get that. So yeah, it's been a great thing, and I did want to give a shout out to a number of people, which I'm going to do in a second, but I wanted to start by giving a shout out to Seb. Seb is an awesome person, friend of the channel, started following the channel and when I was reacting to Duran Duran videos, but has also showed up in Erasure reactions and a few other places, Eurythmics reactions. And he was saying that, back in the 80s he was a fan of both groups, Aha and Duran. And then he was saying that eventually there was this sort of perception, at least among fans, and maybe even a bit, in terms of comments that had been made in the media by people in the groups, that ultimately it seemed like there was a bit of rivalry between Aha and Duran, at least again among some of the fans. And so he said he kind of made a choice, and he just sort of focused on Duran, and he lost a little bit of touch with Aha, and then like later tried to re-engage with the material a little bit. But he was saying that, if it's something that I'm going to go through, he was willing to be here for some of the reactions and to sort of, try to listen to the albums with new ears again. So shout out to you, I really did appreciate that, and it just highlights the nature of a lot of the music fans who found this channel through one band's reactions or another. There's a lot of cool music lovers here. But again, in that respect, I wanted to give a shout out to a lot of the people who've found my channel in the last few days, or at least have started commenting a lot on the Aha reactions. People like Mark and Cristiano, Alexio, and I hope I'm getting this right, but Akari, it's like A-H-K-K-A-R-I, from Norway. A shout out to you, but also, again, people who've been following the Duran reactions, like Steve and Mary, No Can Do, Adam. Also, there's a friend of the channel who has the name Depeche D. Durand. So obviously a fan of both groups. Ron, just Philip, a number of you. So shout out to all of you. Oh, and also Han Solo. Doesn't comment too much on the Duran reactions, but Depeche reactions and Yazoo reactions and so on. So big ups to all the people who have already reached out and made this Aha journey, even in its very early sort of what's the fledgling sort of condition, already very informative and exciting. So yeah, bottom line, big ups to you. The next tune we're going to listen to on their debut album, Hunting High and Low, is The Sun Always Shines on TV. And again, I just like to do a little speculation or possible consideration of potential themes for the title before I listen to a tune that, as far as I know, I haven't heard yet. Just helps my brain get working. So The Sun Always Shines on TV, it's a sort of very intriguing and I think well-written title. It suggests to me perhaps a disconnect between the reality of entertainment, the reality of fiction, the reality of idealized sort of configurations of human forms, as it relates to often the more mundane, annoying, lengthy, and otherwise sort of complicated or ambiguous or nebulous reality in actual life, in your daily physical life. So The Sun Always Shines on TV may suggest to me that things which are presented either social or cultural or interpersonal circumstances as being a certain way, perhaps with sort of rose-tinted coloring, that in reality are more complicated, perhaps more painful, at least more difficult, So yeah, it suggests maybe a disconnect to me between what we see on TV and what is actually happening out in the world among people. But yeah, we'll have to see how that manifests. Obviously, it could be a more like sarcastic rendering of that sentiment, or it could be sort of like a more critical in terms of like, we pretend that certain things are happening, but then we all know that out in our lives it's more complicated. So we'll have to see how it manifests. And again, when I do these speculations, they may have and often do nothing to do with the actual lyrics. But again, it's just a way to get my brain working so that if I hear a line that does seem to fit with one of the themes, I can sort of, put it in a certain side of my brain and, see how that turns out. But in any case, let's get it. This is Aha from their debut album 1985, Hunting High and Low, and the tune is The Sun Always Shines on TV. you know, it's like in essence it's saying that the song could continue forever if it wanted to, and I do respect that. But that right there is partly why I love a like good written ending to the song. It was, you know, I was enjoying all the different sonics, and then boom, that sort of powerful kind of like bass hit, and then it sort of fades and sort of dissipates into air. That was just a really charismatic ending, and that leaves me with a powerful feeling. Instead of turning it down where it's like, you know, I can feel the song coming to an end, but it's like I'm still trying to maybe listen, because sometimes like when a fade out happens, you know, you end up like noticing like elements that, yeah, they were there, but like, oh, now it's a bit more in isolation, but now it, you know, it's fading out. So again, I don't blame any of the groups for, you know, fade out endings. And again, I get that that's just something that has been done in all different genres, you know, over the decades in popular music and even, you know, more underground music. But again, that right there is why I love a really great written end to a song. Yeah, fantastic tune. Once again, the synth bass, there's been a couple tunes already where it's like, wow, like there's synth bass and they're kind of like, you know, dynamic sort of energetic synth pop sound because of that bass, or like flowing from that bass element. That really seems to be a hallmark of their work, just in the little bit that I've heard. So that was fantastic. Again, his singing is just absurd. Like, you know, not only is it like when he goes high, is it just sort of rich and sonorous, but again, it's like not only does he sing in sort of like slightly different idioms or registers as it goes along, but then it's like he'll do these crazy extensions. So yeah, bottom line, I'm already picking up on the degree to which Morten is an incredible vocalist. So yeah, let me know what you think of the tune. There were a couple people I think who mentioned this one in advance that, yo, you know, I'm excited to hear what you think about this. So yeah, if you're one of those people, do let me know. If you're sort of new to a-ha's material like me, or if you're like Seb and sort of re-engaging with some material you do know but perhaps haven't listened to in a while, yeah, give me a line. Let me know what you think. Other than that, I will see you next time. Peace.